Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So, just dropped that trailer here at the local grocery store, Picket, and I need to rest. I'm tired, I've been yawning, but before I head out and find another load, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So, I'm going to turn back here to the right. I probably should turn on my turn signal, even though it's quiet. I don't have time for this. I want to get to bed. Hopefully the light won't be too long. But we do have stuff like the real traffic mod, so for the lights, so it will take a bit. There you go. Your best friend in grocery shopping is the Picket. So we're here in Colby, Kansas. As you can see, I am trying to make my way over to my garage in Salt Lake City. So we're heading back that way. Why, you may ask? Because if you notice, with that truck right behind me, I don't have a trailer. So if you missed the last episode, I made the fateful decision that the tanker for hazmat work really wasn't working out well. So I am going to, or I have made the decision to switch to a dry van, which should give me more options. Not necessarily hazmat options, but it should give me more hauling options. And then the series becomes less find a load, because that was the other realization I had come to, is we were spending a lot of time looking. I'm probably not being a great truck driver there, although they are only going 30. I think I thought about it, and it was like 2 of the last 6 episodes had involved me bobtailing to find a load, or deadheading to find a load, because I'm really not bobtailing. I had a trailer with me, but and so that was an outcome that I was not enjoying, frankly, because yes, it was driving, but I felt I was dragging you guys into longer episodes because I still wanted to do a load. I mean, I did even have one episode where literally all I did was move the truck to somewhere where I could hopefully find a load. So there wasn't any parking involved at all, which I think is part of, one of the more interesting things you've got when you're watching these videos. But here we go. So, a Waffle House. That is a staple. We'll talk about Waffle House after we get going. I don't know that I've shared this story, and for any viewers who might not be from the U.S., might be interesting, because this is an area that definitely would fall into that. So let me turn this off. Let's get to bed. Alright, 9 a.m. Should probably look for a load before I start up the truck. I did go over to the Waffle House, have myself some breakfast, so I am raring to go. We fueled up last night. We're rested. Let's see what we can find. Alright, so I'm going to still go to external contracts, and we're going to start at the far end on distance. Wrong way, somewhat the right way. Again, I'm going to Salt Lake, which is right there. So I really want like Denver, Rangeley. I want something in Colorado. Okay, Colorado Springs is better, but still not what I really want. Wyoming, that's a little too high. Fort Collins is more off. Man, I am... Alright, there we go. We've got a Denver. I'd prefer to have something a bit longer, but... Alright, this is actually decent pay as well, because it's a heavy load. It's also a high value load. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. We'll make 9,000. It's going to make it a pretty short short run. Well, you know what? Now that I look at this, because it usually doesn't give you this unless you potentially have a problem. And while I probably am okay, I may not be. I mean, but we're going into Colorado, so we're not going to be flat. All right, let me see if I can find. All right. While I hate this, it's still it gives me the same thing, but I can make that I can do. So let me do that one. Let's just go with that. Because yeah, this again becomes a bit of the problem of not sure that I'm going to be able to rotate and get out of here. Definitely don't want to run into this man's truck. I would hate if people ran into my truck. Good news is the Tractor Supply is right across the street. So I don't have far to go to get my load. But yeah, I don't want to damage my truck. And so this is a little bit of the situation where I, got a truck kind of early. I have in some of my profiles been like, I'm just going to drive as a contractor until I've unlocked everything, which is like level 25 or 30. I mean, it's a long way. And, we're only at level 13. All right, so I want to turn here. Right. And then I'm thinking we're just going around the back. So, garden store. We drove by here last night. It's a very cool looking Tractor Supply. I mean, Tractor Supplies are fun on their own. If you've never been to one, especially this time of year, I'm recording this in April. They have baby chicks at most of them, like, whether you're going to buy any or not, but they're just really fun and cute to go take a look at, especially if you got little kids. Yeah, this is really a short, stubby trailer. But again, beggars can't be choosers. I'm sure those waste bins are going somewhere. They're just not going where I need. It's interesting that they'd be selling them out of a Tractor Supply, but hey, we're out here in rural Kansas. Maybe that is how you get your garbage bins. I don't know. Your dumpsters. That's the right name for it. All right, so again, about 211, so about 100 miles shorter than where I was at. I'm going to go ahead and turn left just to discover the as much of this stuff as I can. I'm probably just going to get the little... Oh, it did give me that whole thing behind the station. I appreciate that. I was worried it was just going to give me a segment. I don't need to make a U-turn. I'm going the right way. Getting to the light. Hold your horses. Another stubby trailer. That one's bigger. Alright. Oh, come on. Really? I thought I was drifting up a little bit, but... Oh, well. That's not going to help my stats in my career. I now have a violation, so it tracks those for like 2 weeks. So, it's just going to push me further away from having a clean record. But yeah, so Tractor Supplies can be interesting. Lots of animal stuff. We get bird seed there. We've got a local one. Doesn't look anything like this. It's just more of a standard storefront, which is more typical. Even when I lived in Nashville, I believe the Tractor Supply headquarters is there. If not, there's a pretty big office, because we did have some people that worked in the company I was at go and switch and work over at Tractor Supply, and I know they weren't at the store, they were at corporate. So but even in that area, ooh, this bus and this van met in a way they probably didn't want to. Very sad. Looks like it's the van's fault, I would say, because it hit the side of the boat.
And then turn right.
Alright, so yes, we are continuing west.
Turn right.
So we got the snow barriers again. We haven't talked about that in a while. If people don't know why those gates exist on the interstate, and they're like, why would they do that? They do that in case you get the interstate to be impassable because of some snowstorm. And out here in the rural Midwest, you run into a situation with blowing and drifting snow. So you don't need a lot of snow to create a problem. You could just have a few inches. We used to have facilities out in Nebraska and things like that, and they may be the tallest, it's just a factory that's maybe 10, 15 feet tall. That may be the tallest structure or the tallest thing that exists for 100 miles. And all that snow will blow across the plains and then hit your building and stack up. And so there have been situations where that facility was shut down in Kearney, Nebraska, when there was less than an inch of snow, because they had 20 feet of snow that had piled up on the building and they couldn't get in. So, or sometimes you have the safety of you might not be able to get out because you're going to have tons and tons of snow stacked up outside, and you're not going to just be able to push the door open. I mean, again, there's doors around 4 sides of a building, so the likelihood of all 4 sides being stuck, but still, you're not necessarily wanting people to have to walk out. Maybe they didn't bring their jacket in because it's like, we're not getting much snow, and people are used to the cold, and now suddenly they're walking around a 500,000 square foot facility, which is a little bit of a walk with blowing wind and blowing snow. That's not terribly safe for them either. So, but that can happen on the highway as well, where the snow will be blowing, it'll just be dangerous because of the wind and the blowing snow. Plowing isn't terribly effective because you plow it and it basically blows and immediately covers it over again. Welcome to Colorado. So, all kinds of reasons. Alright, so before I run out of time, Waffle House. So, Waffle Houses are basically, most people would consider them low-end establishments for breakfast, but they're open 24 hours a day, pretty much 7 days a week. I think they may shut down for something like Christmas for a little bit. That truck just went right through. He better not move into me. Alright. He didn't even pull into that rest area. I don't understand why he did what he did, but he did. But they are open all the time. And so in areas of the country, especially like this, kind of Tornado Alley, where kind of starting this time of year in April and heading through the summer as things warm up and you get increased tornadoes, the Weather Service and the folks that track tornadoes and so forth, they use I don't remember exactly what it's called, but we'll call it the Waffle House Indicator. And the Waffle House Indicator is basically, they can assess how bad a storm was by the fact of is the local Waffle House still open or not, because Waffle Houses pretty much are open all the time, no matter what. So if your Waffle House is shut down, you really got hammered. So that's the interesting or intriguing part, that if you're not from the States, or maybe even if you are from the States and you're one of those uppity folks living in New York City or LA or something, where places like this would be considered flyover, where they're not interesting enough to even think about in your sheltered existence, you might never have heard of that either. But it's a thing. You can look it up, you can Google it. Again, it might not be called Waffle House Indicator, but it's something. And so, like, the National Weather Service sometimes actually uses that when their disaster teams are being sent out. That's one of the first things they check, is what I've heard, is are the Waffle Houses in the area still operating? Did they ever shut down? And so forth. Because if they did, they know they're headed into something pretty bad. And if they didn't, they probably could still be heading into something relatively bad. But it's not going to be the worst they've ever seen, most likely. So. Alright, so now as we're heading in, we are getting a little hilly. We've still got about 100 miles to go. But I'm thinking back to if I had taken the heavy load, because I think I could haul it. I mean, I could get it moving. But the thing I was initially like, oh, I'll still take it because it's flat. But I've got to climb up to Denver, and so I think there's going to be a little bit of climbing that'll happen. Like this, this isn't too bad. We'll see what things look like, but Denver is the mile-high city, so we're going to be heading up to about 5,200 feet in elevation, and I'm pretty sure the areas of Kansas we were in there are not anywhere near that. So at some point we'd be going up several thousand. Sorry, I'm looking off to the side. I'm not muting myself like I did at some other point. I don't remember if that was this episode or not. I'm actually running a couple things together. I haven't done that in a long time, but I've been away from ATS for too long, and I'm kind of feeling the, hey, I want to be in here for a while. So I'm thinking I'm gonna run a few loads here. Oh, come on, what is everybody doing? I need to go and get Wade. But everybody... Okay, the cars don't need to... Did you see what he did? If you didn't, go back and look at what he did. I'm literally sitting here, and he runs into me. Why are you in the way station line, buddy? I'm glad you realized you didn't need to be there.
Recomputing.
Now he cost me $900 plus damage to my truck. I mean, he hit the trailer, I suppose, so thank goodness it's not my trailer, but... Oh, that is so frustrating. Welcome to American Truck Simulator AI. I was literally... If I wasn't stopped, I was going like 10 miles an hour. I mean, I was standing on my brakes, trying to stop the truck, to let him clear out so that I could go. And then he just slams into me. Ridiculous. So, I don't even remember what I was talking about. I think I was done with the Waffle House effect, or the Waffle House indicator, but I don't know. Alright, let's get in here. Let's get ourselves weighed. I think I was talking about whether I could haul the heavy load. Because, see, the entire vehicle here is 42,000, and that's everything. Like, the weigh station obviously weighs the whole truck. So the load itself would have been 60, and usually a heavy haul then means your total weight's going to be over 80,000. So we'd be double that. The weight, basically, that we were at is what we would have been hauling with that. And that might have been a bit too much. Oh, am I not fast enough yet? Oh, I hit the wrong button. I am so flustered from getting hit. Of course, I'm doing the same thing that I was yelling at this other guy. I don't need to exit here at Limon or Lyman or whatever it's called here in Colorado. Anybody local know what the name of the town is and how you pronounce it? Educate us all. But so yeah, we'll see if we end up climbing a good distance or not. Colorado road toll aiming for 0. I don't know what that means. That they want to eliminate all toll roads in the state? Or that they don't want some other kind of like death toll where people are dying. And so when they're saying the road toll, is that the toll of injuries and things that happen. And I think everyone would be aiming for 0 unless they're really mean-spirited or something. But realistically, I also think that people who work in that space of highway safety and so forth also understand you can aim for 0, but you're never going to get to 0. I mean, there's just too many thousands of vehicles moving around every day. We already saw that van run into the bus. We saw the little yellow fool run into me. And that's just in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but obviously it would have been a couple hours here in game time, but still, we haven't even gotten through a day. And we ourselves have seen 2 accidents, so one of them wasn't on the interstate, but if they were counting people hitting each other, we were part of that toll. We have now not helped them aim at 0. We have raised their limit. Not through a fault of ours, I would say. Bad driver next to us, but alright. I don't know. I guess you could have that kind of a rotating sprinkler there, but it seems weird in a field that small. But it can't rotate all the way around, but it can do part of it, and it would effectively water that field, so I suppose that would work. Don't know that I've ever seen anything on a field that small, so. Alright, Airport Boulevard. I don't think we're going to be taking waste paper to the Denver airport, but you never know. So, it's about 10 miles, so I suppose if we're not told to exit here, at least we know we're not going to the airport. But then after that, we should be at the next exit, I would think. So we should be seeing it soon. But we are not going to the Denver International Airport, which will be a big hub. So this is just the other, whoops, drifting off again. I was looking correctly. I just maybe was looking at the map because yeah, I see the FedEx spot there. I think this is probably the package terminal or something, the exit there. If I was hauling a load for FedEx, that would be the cleaner way to get there. Shoulder closed ahead. Please don't tell me the exit I need is closed and that you're going to give me a detour, but it's sure starting to look that way. Maybe not. Maybe it's just this. No, they're still constructing. I'm guessing this is a permanent part of the map. So we'll see if they... Alright, they haven't closed it, so that's good. Alright, so we're on Josephine Street. Looks like we're going to the rail depot.
Get ready to turn left.
Should make sense, because what we've got is kind of container-ish. Alright, let's not cross the... Get another red light violation. That would have been hard to stop. I don't know. We might have been able to pull that heavy haul off. There was really not a whole lot. Oh, I can't... Yeah, I can't turn left here. Ah, shoot. I'm probably going to get stuck because of that hesitation.
And then go straight.
I'm like looking at my GPS map. I'm like, I probably shouldn't be turning here.
Go straight.
I will, but I can't yet. Alright, stop it. Again, if you followed the series at all, you know my wife always yells at me for forgetting to turn off the turn signal. So, why wouldn't I do it in my truck? So, I think... Oh, no, not yet. I suppose I should look, right? Is that bus going to stop, or is he... No, he actually did. Cool. So the AI was well modeled that way. We'll be across the tracks.
Right.
Alright, so there we are, BNSF.
Right.
Burlington Northern Santa Fe, if you're unfamiliar. Alright, we want to get in here. And it looks like around to the right is where we're going to need to get to and park somewhere. Well, still a ways that way, so we'll see. I'm sure it'll be blocked in some way where I have to back in, because that's how it works. They weren't giving me any indicator here. But No specific security like we've had at some of the newer rail depots. But is it there? No. Guess I'm still not quite over. I don't know if that's the truck beeping or what. That's a weird sound.
At your destination.
Alright, well, we're going to be somewhere over there. Alright, we barely cleared the wall. Alright, let me figure out where they want me here. Okay, in between that. So yes, if you're wondering why I'm doing that, hey, I thought the rule was stay in the trailer. I had a comment, and it made sense once I talked through it with them of what they meant. They're like, truckers will get out and look around. Like, they do exit. Just amend your rule to not walk around where, to not move the trailer when you're not in the cab, but you can walk around. And I'm like, well, but you can't walk around in American Truck Simulator. But they're like, yes, but you can use, the drone camera or whatever and say you're walking around. This is what I shouldn't be doing, the blind side. So I'm gonna stop here, and I am gonna walk around. Am I? All right, I might be okay. All right. So I probably need to start straightening out a bit. So let me do that. That was too much. You know what? I think I'm going to continue, and I'm going to come in the other way. This is just, it's too hard this way. So I'm going to then go back this way, and then I'll be able to back in appropriately and not be blindside. So that really is probably what I need to do. Let me go forward, straighten it out, and then I can make the decision of when I cut. So this should be better. We'll see. Might turn into a lot longer. I do have a cold, so I apologize for that. Having to keep bending over, muting my microphone, so you're getting more chair squeaks and stuff than normal, because I gotta reach down to do that. Alright, whoops. Getting a little discombobulated, but this is a tricky one, because it's always a little tough when you're trying to back in between a couple trailers. Alright, whoop. Hold on. That was not straightened out yet. So, alright. That should get me straighter. I want to actually probably go a little bit that way, just a tiny bit. Alright, now I should be okay. Part of it is if you don't straighten yourself out in the cab, you're a bit discombobulated with stuff. But this should work. Again, might be a little short of an episode. By the time I change things, it might be below half an hour, but I'm sure people will be okay with that. But we're going to drop this. But you got information about Waffle House, Tractor Supply and Baby Chicks, all kinds of fun in this episode. So, not as much experience, but again, shorter run than the last one. continuing to try to get over to Salt Lake City to get that new dry van that's sitting there for us, unless one of... I don't have a driver. Never mind, I don't have a driver in this series. That's in the other one that is still waiting for maps. I haven't forgotten about it. It's just ProMods hasn't updated yet, so it's a little crazy. But let's wrap this up. And so with that, we're good. 93,000. We had to buy fuel before and so forth, so we're not making a ton, but I was thinking we might have been over 100,000 with this one load, but did not happen. We'll see if it happens with the next one. If you're not a subscriber yet, please consider doing that. And if you've enjoyed this and following along and haven't dropped a like, please consider doing that. It's greatly appreciated and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you next time.